Hi guys, it's me Terabyte, and this session is going to be on Burpsuite. What are the functionalities, all sort of functions, menu, and other things that we can do with Burpsuite, the cool stuff basically, and how it can be utilized for the sake of bug hunting in specific. So that's what we're gonna do today. So this is what Burpsuite looks like. If I just start my Burpsuite now, I have configured it with my Mozilla as well. So whatever basically, if this is the Burpsuite, I'm opening these two in my separate windows. I have Burpsuite already pre-configured. So how it actually works, if I give you a quick demonstration, if I open google.com with the Interception on, you will see it will basically capture whatever request I'm going to send. You see here, basically capturing whatever I'm searching in the Burpsuite. So this is how I can basically monitor all the packets like get and post response or whatsoever responses are going. Now before coming to this part, it might happen that you might have not installed Burpsuite yet. That's okay. I'm going to start from the very beginning, like how to install Burpsuite. I have already given you the Burpsuite Pro cracked version as well. So I'll show you like how to install that. I have it extracted here. So these are the two files. In order to run these two JAR files, these are Java files. You require basically Java runtime environment. The version is 8.11, and that's the version that you require. I have it installed as well already. I have already shared these two files with you. If not, then I'll give you the link where you can download them from. So I have to execute this decoder underscore new dot jar. Once I execute, you will see you will get this kind of a small window. Just replace it with your name. I'll replace it with terabyte. That's my name. I hope you know that. And then I will hit run. When I hit run, it will start the Burpsuite. Now this is the installation process. So this is the license key over here. You can see this big one. I just have to select it all, and from my keyboard I have to copy that. Then I have to agree with the license agreement, and then I have to paste the license key which I just copied in this box. I hit next. It says I want to activate the license. I will go for the manual activation. Once I go into manual activation, I get a copy response, a request that I have to copy. Once I copy it, I have to paste it in the request section over here in this Burpsuite cracker. If I paste the request, it will give me the response, this hefty big one. You just have to copy it from the keyboard again, and then there is an option to paste it. Just click on paste response and it will paste it over here. And then I have to hit next. Simple as that. It is successful. And once I hit finish, it will start Burpsuite. Initially, you can delete the temporary files, you don't require them. Click on next and then start Burpsuite just like normal. So this was the first time installation how you have to do it. Now the Burpsuite is licensed to terabyte, and this is how it is opening. So now onwards, if I have to start Burpsuite, what I have to do, simply I have to open the decoder and then simply hit run. That's it. No more copy pasting stuff. Simply hit run and it will open the Burpsuite for me automatically. Delete the temporary files, click on next, start Burpsuite. I have it already. So halfway is done, like half of my work is done. The rest of the work that remains is of configuring it to for the sake of interception to configure it. I have to configure it with the help of with the Firefox, obviously. That's the best one that it works with. It also works with Opera, but Opera I don't recommend that because of some performance and trust issues. But Firefox is a really good one. Opera crashes soon, Firefox does not. So how you have to configure it? So you have to go into the Burpsuite proxy section over here, click on proxy, and then go into the options. In the proxy section, go into the option category. Here you will see there is a proxy server running over here that is on this IP and this port number. You just have to configure the same proxy in the Firefox. Go into the Firefox option, either you will get it from here on the top, or if you have older version, you might have to go into the settings and the options, and then you have to search for network settings. Go into network settings, and then you have to configure a manual proxy. Manual proxy, put the localhost IP, and then give the port number, that's 8080, and use this proxy for all the servers, like whatsoever, SSL, FTF, FTP, or maybe SOC. And that's it. If you have anything in this section no proxy for, just remove everything whatever is in there if in case there is something. and then hit on OK. Your configuration is done as well. So now in the proxy section, from the optional, go back into the intercept. The intercept is on right now. If it is not, you can just, if it is off like this, just hit on it, it will turn on. Now, whatever you're going to search on this, it's gonna intercept that. Oh, my bad. Before we go for the interception part, actually we have to install a certificate for Burpsuite as well. I forgot that part. My bad. For that, what you have to do is you just have to, since the proxy is configured now on this IPN port, you just have to go in your browser and type http://burp, B-U-R-P, and then hit enter. It will open this page. This is the URL that you have to visit. Then you click on the CS certificate. It will download a certificate for you, csrf.der. You have to save that file. See, this is a one-time installation process. After this, you can use it normally. This is just the first time installation. This is my CS certificate downloaded for Burpsuite. So I have to go back into the settings, and now I have to search for the certificate. You see certificates here. I need to click on view certificates, and then I have to import that certificate which I just downloaded. I have to import it. Click on import. I go into my downloads. That's where it is. CS certificate, and then I open that. It will ask me to trust some of the options. I just have to click on them and then click on OK. Simple as that. Once the certificate is imported, you can find it in the name of ports figure. I will show you. I think I missed it. There it is. Ports figure software security device. So it is now available. Ports figure is basically the provider of Burpsuite, the you can say the manufacturer. That's the certificate. And then once it is imported, you hit on OK and go back. So this is the time when you can say your browser is completely configured to use with Burpsuite. Just click on intercept and start intercepting websites. I see I search google.com, it is intercepting, I forward. So that's how the packets are being intercepted. Every single response that is being generated from my side or coming from the server can be intercepted in between with the help of Burpsuite. This is what can be happening. This is what can happen actually, and that's what we are doing. So that's it. That's how you basically configure Burpsuite. Now, when it comes to doing various stuff with Burpsuite, like how you basically intercept a particular request or how you modify a request, that's a question. So how you do it? Let's suppose we go on a website. Let's talk about which website we should talk about. Any website. Okay. Let's talk about my own website, akashsharma.in. Right. I turn the intercept off. Turn it on. Okay. Now I'll search for my website, akashsharma.in. I'll forward it. See, this is the response going on for akashsharma.in. That's a get response going to the server. Once I forward, I get a response back again for akashsharma.in. It's a redirection. Okay, going from cloud through. That's basically the WAF CloudFront. That's a CDN, basically content delivery network. You see, there are different kind of hosts it is going to event to talk to. That's my chatbot, and that's the Google API that is running the backend. Every single request that is being called from this particular session, it will be shown here. You see talk to, this is my chatbot basically. That means there are some talk to scripts running in the backend as well. That's the confirmation. Now you see it's coming up, it's showing up. My website basically. Right. Okay, it's right. So now it is completely loaded. Fine, it is all up and running, and this is my website basically. So if there are some requests being generated in the backend from Mozilla, so we can just forward them. Then that's no problem. That's just Mozilla packets for the sake of configuration or whatever you can call that. So now if I reload this site again, you see there is a response going on for akashsharma.in. But if you see on the top, the get response, and after the get response, this is the directory which is going as empty. Now, if there is an empty directory going, we as we know about the web architecture, it goes by default into the index directory, right? There is an empty directory. Let me make it readable. So if there is a website that's suppose google.com and then after slash there is nothing, by default it goes into the index.html page. Let's not talk about Google. It's a very big name. Talk about an example.com website. If there is a if there is a blank slash, it by default goes into the opens the index.html page, right? So right now it is opening the index.html, the main page of my website. But if I write any name of the directory, it will redirect it to that one particularly, right? So if I put a name here, log, right? Earlier I generated a request to open the index page, but now in the interception, I am writing the name of the directory blog. If I forward this packet basically and turn the intercept off, you see it is now redirecting to the blog. So now it opened the blog, the main page for the blog basically. So that's how it actually works. So now the point is that this kind of redirection is possible with the help of Burpsuite. I can make these kind of redirections, right? But thing is, what else I can do with this? Like, to what extent we can use this kind of functionality? Now, we have already used tools like Derby. Now, Derby is used for directory enumeration, right? And for directory enumeration, it uses some dictionaries, or we, as we like to call them, word list, right? Now, these word lists are the name of the directories. Basically, it's a list of the name of the directories, and we brute force the name of the directories to find the proper response. Same thing we can do with the help of Burpsuite. Question is how. Now Burpsuite have a very good functionality which is with the name of intruder. If you see on the top along with the proxy, there is intruder over there. So what I will do, I will use intruder and a dictionary in order to brute force directories. To brute force directories, I need the word list first of all. So I'll download a word list. So I'll download the Derby word list itself, the same word list that Derby uses for for directory scanning. Derby common.txt, that's the word list that Derby use basically. It's the same dictionary that it uses. So I'm gonna download this one. I'm just gonna copy paste it actually. Copy my notepad and then I'm gonna paste and save it. I'm gonna save it in my documents with the name of common.txt itself. Right? Saves. Cool. So I have the word list now. I have the Burpsuite ready. So I'll do a brute force for directory scanning without using Derby. So I will again capture a response. I'll turn the intercept on and I will just go for this link. This is the link going on, correct? But this time again the directory field is empty. So what I will do, I'll simply send this request to intruder. How I can do that is basically there are two ways. Either I can make a right click anywhere on this Burpsuite screen and then I click on send to intruder. Or I can click on this action button on the top and then I can send to intruder, or I can simply make a keyboard shortcut control plus I. There are three ways I can do it. Any way that is fine. I prefer the right click one. Make a right click and then I click on send to intruder. So when I do that, you see the intruder starts blinking. It have an alert that I have something for you. When I go into it, I have this kind of a portal coming up here, like a panel, which shows me the attack target. It shows me the host akashama.in and this shows me the port number. This is my attack target. This is category number one. In another tab, I have positions. Now these are the position where the intruder is going to attack. Now if I go by the name, intruder basically, as the word means, that it is going to intrude in between some sort of an action. That's what intruder is going to do. Whatever action was happening, it is going to get in between and make some changes into it. Maybe manipulations or maybe whatsoever it is supposed to do. Now, whatever those manipulations or whatever changes are supposed to be made, there should be proper positions where this should be made. So the positions are going to be selected in this tab over here, in the position tab. Now you see some of them are green. these greens are the selected ones, but I am not, but I don't want to target these positions as of now. I want to target this position, right? I'll first of all clear all the selection. I'll clear by clicking on this clear button. Then I will select the place where I want to target. But if you see after slash, there's nothing. So what should I select? So I can put anything in there, any random value. And now I have something to select. I will make from my mouse, I'll just make a selection and then I will click on add. Now you see, now it is added to my target position. Now this is where the intruder will attack. Now there are different type of attack types. We'll talk about them later. But as of now, we are choosing the sniper one. I'll tell you about the rest of them as well later on. Sniper, as you already know, some of you might be gamers or not, I'm not sure. So sniper basically targets a specific uh, location or target or victim or whatsoever. So if I'm like, it zooms in and targets the specific location and that's where it hits. That's what a sniper can do basically if you have used it in terms of aiming. I don't know how better I can explain it, but it is used to select a specific target, right? So now I have added my target, I have added my position. Now I'm going to give my payloads. Here the payload is going to be obviously our word list because that is what is going to be brute forced into the website, right? So the word list is this here. In this case, the word list is going to target into this position, and it will just target every single word in the word list into that position one by one by one. That's what it's going to do basically. So in the payloads, I have a complete dictionary, so I will simply load the dictionary right away. I don't need to type everything. If I want to type anything, I just can just hit in this tab over here, input field, and I can put anything. I put Akash and then I hit add. It will start adding these things into the dictionary in the list over here. Sharma, I misspelled that. Never mind. If you want to remove it, you can just select that one and then hit on remove. And then I will add Sharma, so on and so forth. But this will take really long time, so I'll simply load the dictionary. I'll click on load. I'll go into my documents. It's already in there, and I have my comment.txt. I'll select that and I open it. You see the dictionary is all open. I'll remove the rest of it. So the dictionary is loaded up here. You can see the whole dictionary is here. Correct. So I have selected my target, my positions, and my payloads. Now it is the time to start my attack. I'll just hit on the start attack over here. You see the attack started in this small window. Let me just maximize for you. So if you see, I told you about the response codes, right? Every site have a response code here. The status codes are denoting the same thing. That is our response code. 404 means the page does not exist basically. And this website have only one directory, so it is going to show only one result. So I can simply sort this list with the help of clicking on status. Sorting will work this way. So it is not having yet any sort of result. Already 300 are done. We'll wait for it. It is going through everything actually. It's still going through numbers and stuff. 400, okay. It only have one directory with the name of blog, BLOG. So we have to wait for it to show. I hope blog is there in the dictionary. Okay, blog is there, I believe. There it is, you see. It says 301. So there is only one single result. If you see here, if I go back on the top and then I start the sorting thing, so on the top it shows 301. If you remember, 301 was for redirection. 3xx errors were for redirection, and those both of them are for the blog. One with the capital, one with the small. Doesn't really matter. If you click on any of these responses over here, you will see the request being generated in on the bottom. You see that? Give me a second. I guess my night light is turned on. It's turning on yellow. Alright, thanks. So I have a 300 error over here. So what I can do here is further, I can just go into the request at the bottom. If you see for 404, this kind of request is going on. I'll go in. This is the request that my the system is sending, what I'm getting from the server, I can see in the response. This is the thing that I'm getting from the server, which says page not found. But if I want to see how it actually looks on the browser, I can render this whole piece of code, and this is what exactly shows on the browser. Basically, you see page not found. But if I go for this log thing, which is a redirection, it is showing a redirection like this, and I go into the response, what kind of response I'm getting from the server. This is the kind of response I'm getting, which is quite not so readable. You see that, right? It's not readable, not human readable form. So I'm not quite sure what exactly it is going to be. So this is the only response that I got, which is not very common. So what I can do is simply I can click, I can make a right click anywhere in this window. You see it is divided into two halves. First half is having a list and second half is having the response and the request. So in the second half, I will just click, make a right click, and then I will click on show response in browser. You see, so it will show the response in the browser, like how it looks in the browser basically. Because when I render it, basically it is not giving me a human readable form, or I cannot understand it anyway. So I'll just go into request and I will hit on show response in browser. It will give me a link basically. I'll copy that link, open my browser, and yes, of course, I have to turn the proxy off, and I'll click copy paste the link that I just copied into the browser tab URL bar basically, then I hit enter. So when I hit that, it is showing me the same response that was generated there, and now you see it redirected to from akashsharma.in/blog to akashsharma.in/blog/oscp prep guide. Why it is doing that? If I do it again, let's analyze every single packet that is being sent in the backend. I'll turn the intercept on. Okay, let's forward this. You see it is redirecting to this link, blog akashsharma.in. Forward that one. Now, after I go on the blog, once the blog is loaded, that's when it redirects automatically to OSAP prep guide. If I go into the page source of akashsharma.in/blog, you will see on body it is having a function of onload and redirecting automatically to Akashsharma blog OSAP prep guide. That's how I actually coded. So blog is having nothing else but a simple redirection to this link, and that's why it is redirecting it automatically. And that's why it is not showing anything in the Burpsuite intruder, and that's why we cannot see anything because it is redirecting automatically. So this way basically we can make a brute force, a directory brute force scan on any website with the help of Burpsuite. This is the way we can have it. We can have the results like this. You can see 301, 301 more. These are for the index pages, so it really doesn't matter. So that's how it actually works. It is still scanning. You can see it's almost scanned 50%, I believe, more than that. So no problem. Let it be because we have already we just stopped the scan. We have already seen what we wanted to. So this is how you can perform brute force with the help of Burpsuite without using Derby. This simple dictionary attack. That's what it does. I'll close it. Doesn't need. I don't need it anymore. Alright. Let's get back into the proxy. So this is how you actually use interception and proxies for brute forcing basically. Now when it comes to CSRF attacks, how it is done, that is also a concern, right? So how a CSRF attack is made? So CSRF attack is cross-site request forgery, and we basically replicate a request and regenerate that request from uh, illegitimate or unsupposed sources. Like if a website is having a, like suppose a logout function, and if I'm generating a script out of it and I'm like executing that script, and every single person who executes the script is logging out of from that website, so that's basically CSRF. Whatever I'm saying might go off from your head, so no problem. I'll show you an example. We have this website concept.eu. Alright, no problem. I accept it. I accept. No problem. Oh, come on. There we go. So I'll register on this website with a temporary email address. I don't want to give my original one, tempmail.org. That's the one. So it gives you basically disposable email addresses. I don't want to give my real ones. Right, so I'll copy it and I will sign in to Transit. make an account. Go to control panel. I click on I don't have an account, I want to make one. I click on the username, put my username. Let's put my username as what? Tax codes test account. And then I put my email address, the one which I just made on the temp mail. And then I choose my password, anything like password 1234 underscore a this, or maybe underscore or hash. How about that? Even longer. So I'll just click on register now. So it will start registration process. I'm not intercepting any of it because this is just like a normal procedure. I'll just save it because I might forget it. Quite possible. So you can see this is my account details. This is my username and my password is, as you all know, password 1234 underscore hash. Doesn't matter, you can use it if you want. So what you're gonna do here is, if you see in this panel, there are different kind of functionalities, and one of the functionalities is to log out. You can see over here, log out functionality is here, right? So I will generate a CSRF script basically which will log it out from there. So I have my email. I don't need it anymore, but that's okay. Let it be open. So I'll start the interception, and then I will generate a request to log out. I'll just click on that. It will capture the request over here. You can see. I'll just copy this request and I'll show you that in the notepad better. So this is the request that I just captured and I basically copied from Burpsuite. This is the kind of request. What I have to what I have to check out here is the session. You see, it is basically generating a request. It's a get response it is generating for a session logout. So once this thing loads, it will log out the session basically. That's the kind of request that is generated. Once this request generates, or once this request will execute, it will log out the session. If I want to perform this kind of logging out on somebody else's computer who is using Tranzip, I just have to execute the script on their side, right? I just have to execute this response on their side. So in order to execute this response on their side, I need to generate it in the form of a script. So it is simple. Burp should help us in that. You just have to again click on make a right click here and then go into the engagement tools and then generate CSRF piece of code. POC stands basically for piece of code here in this case. But like generally it stands for proof of concept, but in this case we are talking about CSRF piece of code. So when I click on that, it will generate a script automatically for me. You can see over here it generated one already. I'll just copy the HTML script and I will paste it. I'll replace it actually. So this HTML code over here is basically responsible for making a logout action for any Tranzip account. So whomsoever is using a Tranzip account, if in case this script execute on their browser, they will be logged out forcefully from their side. They will be logged out basically uninformed. If I can embed this script into any website and I can make them open that website, and once they open the website in the back end, the script will execute and they will be logged out without even knowing about it. You can see it is the same action of logging out from the website. Once they click on this button, or maybe if it loads in the background, they will be logged out. So that's how it actually works. I'll show you the rest working of it as well. I'll just save the script in the form of logout.html on my desktop itself. Logout.html, right? Okay, I don't need this anymore. I'll just close this. I will drop the request. I'll log into my Tranzip account one more time just to show you the working. I'm logged out right now. I'm logging in again for you guys. The intercept is off. I'm not intercepting anything as of now. So you can see my transit account is logged in again. I am logged into a valid session as of now. But if I open my C drive in the users, number 7 desktop, you see this is my logout HTML script over here, piece of code here. I will open this one. It is having a button for submitting the request. If I go into my page source, you will see it is having the same script, that is to log out the HTML, log out the transit account basically. So once I hit the submit button, you will see it just redirects to the logout itself and logs out of the transit account. You remember in this tab I was logged into a valid account here, but if I refresh it again, it says that I'm logged out of my session. So this kind of thing can actually take place. So this is what I can do with the help of CSRF. This is just one of the harmless demonstration of what you can do with CSRF. Like this is just logging out. But you can think of possibilities that there are multiple kind of action that takes place in a particular website, like resetting of password, maybe generating an OTP, or maybe like changing usernames, or maybe changing any of the configurations whatsoever. So I can generate CSRF for them as well by intercepting that request. I intercept the request for login or logout. I can intercept the request for resetting password, and I can do that as well. I can generate a CSRF POC. I can send it to anyone. It can do a lot of rec. I can harm their security or their privacy in many ways. So CSRF leads to criticality once they go through some sort of social engineering or phishing, because you have to involve the interaction of the victim in this case. That's the basic dependency of CSRF, but CSRF can be critical in some cases, and hence it is considered as a good vulnerability. But in this case, the logout is not a very critical thing, so you might or might not be rewarded in terms of bug bounty, because it is not that critical, to be honest. I should not like give you fake hopes. But the thing is that if you find something critical like resetting a password or generating generation of OTP or resetting or renaming or changing of or modification of any of the details, if that kind of CSRF is there, it's a worthy bounty. It's a bounty worthy report basically. It's a bounty worthy vulnerability. So yeah, that's how it actually works. So this was about CSRF. This is how you can do CSRF with the help of Burpsuite as well. Now, when it comes to session hijacking, like how you can play with the session IDs, how these kind of things are done. Like if there is a session I want to play with, I'll tell you how to do that as well with our old friend Burp's DVWA. You know, some of you remember that. Let me just check my IP for my Windows. I'm starting the DVWA in my host machine. Have it there. 103 is the IP. Alrighty. And the port number is 1337. Okay, got it. So I'm back in my virtual machine, 192.168.0.103, 1237, DVWA. That's where the DVWA is. Oh, yeah, that's right. Admin, password, that's turn the intercept on, not yet. If I go into the session IDs, how I can actually play with the session IDs are, give me a sec. So if I turn the intercept on, and then I click on generate, it will basically send a request to generate a session ID. Now, the thing is that I want to play with the session IDs because I need to see like how the session IDs are generated. So I have to actually play with this specific request again and again and again multiple times. The question is how? Because once the request is generated, I have to generate another new request. I cannot play with this request multiple times. So there is a thing called repeater that we have, which repeats a specific step again and again and again so that you can test it a number of times without actually making any sort of changes on the live website. Website is going to be the same way, the intact way it is right now, but it will just keep on repeating the same step again and again in the Burpsuite itself. So this way I can test it efficiently. I'll just make a right click one more time. And now this time, earlier I sent to intruder, I'll send to repeater. Went in there in the repeater already. You can see this is the same request came here. And this is where the response will show. So once I hit on go, it will execute the request and will show me what kind of response I got from the server. So here I go. So the kind of response I got. So this was the response for the generation of a session ID. So you see this is the session ID over here. 1, go again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so on and so forth, consecutive session IDs. So predictability is pretty much confirmed. If I turn the security a bit more high, let's go to medium. You see the session IDs are being generated, something new as well. But in this case, we have already seen, or you might have practiced that. You see the session IDs are generating us every second. It's 196 right now in the end, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you see it's generating basically every second. So every second there will be a new ID, 4 seconds passed, 4 or 5 seconds more passed. So this way it is generating IDs basically. So this is how you can analyze session IDs or any sort of tokens, or if there is any sort of parameters that are there that changes dynamically. And if you want to repeat this kind of request, you can take help of repeater here. There are multiple things there. There's this decoder. Decoder can be used for decoding this different kind of stuff, decoding and encoding both basically. You can decode things from URL encryption to, you can decode it to ASCII, or you can encode it as well, so on and so forth. If I give you an example, this is a normal looking website. Okay, let me show you something. So if I type here Akash Sharma user loop hacker, so if I encode it as octal and start encode as octal actually, it is. It's not encoding for some reason. Okay, yeah. Now this is a hex form, and now you can encode it in the octal format. Yeah, that's how basically you use decoder. You can decode and encode different kind of values with the help of these encoding and decoding functionalities. You can encode this into ASCII or so on and so forth. You can do it the other way around. You can see that. If I decode it as ASCII, it will get me back the same value which I just put in there. So we can do that pretty easily. We have decoder in here itself, and we can make use of it. You can also add any of the extensions. Like we already have this many. There are multiple user of sequencer and extender and comparer as well. For comparer, you can basically compare two different kind of responses. Over here, you can select two items differently, and in extender, you can simply like customize the behavior of any sort of code that is being used in the website. Will tell you this is majorly used in terms of APIs. Basically, if there's some sort of API using that you're using or working with. In the extender itself, you will see there is a B app store. This is a Burpsuite app store basically. Herein there are different other kind of extensions that you can install in your Burpsuite. Because I have a crack version, I can install the pro application itself. But if I don't have a crack version, I cannot. I can just install the free ones available. I can install any one of them. I mean, there are multiple of them actually. If you see, we have for firewall redirection, we have nmap parser. You can execute nmap codes in here for some reason if you want to. Payload parser if you want to execute some payloads explicitly. SSL scanner is there if you want to scan for SSL. This extension enables Burpsuite to scan for SSL vulnerabilities automatically. So these kind of attacks that are there, like Poodle attack, drones attack, freak attack, like 13, breach, these kind of things, it can heartbleed as well. It can actually check for these kind of attacks. If there is a WAF that is being used, detects the presence of a web application firewall from the HTTP responses. So that's what this extension can help. You can customize your extensions as per your convenience, basically. This is a new installation if you see, but in my other this system I have this extension XSS validator that I use the most. This is used to detect XSS. I'm working with XSS in a few websites these days. So that's a different thing. All right. So this is what the kind of things you can do with Burpsuite. There are numerous other things that you can do as well, but these are just an example. That the rest of the thing depends on how much you practice basically with the help of Burpsuite. It's just a demonstration. And yeah, I've told you a few major attacks and sort of pen testing that you can do with the help of Burpsuite. And I leave the rest on your practice and your efforts. And I hope you will excel in them. And if you have any issues, just let me know. Get back to me any point of time, no matter even if the training is over. You can just still get back to me or anybody else at Army. So, right. Thank you for this and wait for the next video. All right. Thanks.